there everyone, I hope you're all doing well. Today I want to share with you an anti-anxiety tincture. This is something I am experimenting with, so I thought I would take you along with me through this process, and this will be the first iteration of the experiment. My major goals for this experiment is to create a tincture that's easy to carry around and use for anxiety purposes, both for kind of a panic attack situation, general day-to-day anxiety, or for times of stress. But I want to make sure that it comes with an undertone of happiness as well. So with that, I've picked 5 herbs. Each of them either tie both to anxiety or happiness, and they tie with them in different ways. So the goal is to create something very well-rounded and effective. Hey, sweet girl. I'll explain a bit more about each individual herb, the benefits of them, and why I chose them in a bit. But first, this video is sponsored. Today I'm very happy to once again be partnering with my favorite mindfulness and sleep app, Aura. When it comes time to sleep, I often have a difficult time quieting my mind enough to actually get to sleep. I'm always caught up on every anxious thought or stressor that is present in my life. But after working with Aura for quite some time now, this is no longer impacting me, and I'm able to fall asleep almost instantly while using the app. As you may know, Aura is a new mindfulness and sleep app that won the Best of Apple award and is used by over 7 million people. It's an all-in-one app for well-being and sleep and has thousands of meditations and stories, along with CBT, life coaching, breathwork, spirituality, and more. Its content is created by hundreds of expert coaches and therapists around the world, and as I've said before, it's been a huge aid to me when it comes to my sleep and anxiety. I deeply appreciate how much variety and personalization there is available within the app, and with hundreds of coaches, therapists, and storytellers, there are endless tracks to choose from. Personally, I favor the soundscapes, in particular any involving rain. And best of all, you won't have to worry about waking up in the middle of the night due to an ad or abrupt transition. Everything is carefully curated to guarantee smooth transitions from tracks to background sounds to silence, all to make sure to never interrupt your sleep. All in all, I've never found an app quite like this one, and much less one that has worked so well when it comes to helping with my sleep. So if this sounds interesting to you, get started for completely free on Aura's website using my special link in the description. The first 500 people get a free trial plus an exclusive 25% off. It's gonna go fast, so you might as well sign up now while you're thinking about it. Thank you so much to Aura for sponsoring this video, and let's get back into it. Alrighty, welcome back. Let's jump into the herbs, shall we? So we have lemon balm, lemon verbena, meadowsweet, rose, and tulsi. As I mentioned before, each of these herbs have distinct properties that tie to either one or both of the things I'm seeking here: happiness and calm. I've worked with all of these in tea form primarily, and I've made tinctures with a few of them. The primary benefits of a tincture over a tea in this instance is longevity and portability. There are of course many different reasons why you may choose to make a tincture over a tea or vice versa, but in this case I want to make something that I can just toss in a bag to have with me anywhere I go and whenever. Teas are fantastic when you're home and have access to boiling water or just warm water in general and all of your herbs, but unless you prepare them beforehand, they aren't very reasonable on the go. They also tend to be less potent, requiring an entire cup of tea to make a difference instead of maybe just a dropper full of a tincture. Now, of course, if you're somebody who wants to avoid alcohol, a tea is a better way to go, though you can use vinegar instead of alcohol to get a fairly similar effect. Now, when it comes to tincture making, it's very straightforward. All we're going to do is add 1 part of each herb to the jar and then enough alcohol to cover it fully. So let's begin putting it together, and as I add each herb, I will give you the explanation of why I chose it. I forgot to mention that I am using a 190 proof alcohol for this, but you're welcome to use something that is 80 proof and above. 190 proof is very strong, but the higher alcohol proof that you use, the more that it will be able to extract. So let's get started. So to begin, I'm going to add lemon balm. I'm gonna wing it a little bit with the amounts that I put into this just for this initial experiment, but if you are going to follow along on this experiment with me, feel free to be a bit more precise. Lemon balm in particular is a great aid to anxiety, insomnia, and depression. It is a very uplifting herb, and I'm choosing it primarily for these happiness qualities that it can give. Though its uses for calming anxiety and especially as a sleep aid should definitely be noted, as that's very beneficial in this context. I think that'll do it for the lemon balm. Because each of my herbs are varying finenesses, and because I do not know where my good mortar and pestle are currently, I am just going to eyeball it. If you're going to do this the right way, I would recommend grinding them all down to a very fine powder and adding them in equal parts that way. But we are working with what we have today. Next, the lemon verbena. Lemon verbena is a very gentle and soothing herb. Similar to lemon balm, it has a very uplifting quality to it as well. And it is also a good remedy for stress and insomnia. I've found that its gentle nature is really beneficial for more long-term treatment than something that is immediate, but as I want this to also serve as a little bit more of a long-term treatment, I decided lemon verbena was one that I wanted to add as well. It's slowly getting a gradient. It's looking very beautiful. Now for the meadowsweet. Now, meadowsweet is quite the beautiful herb. It is very relaxing, especially to the physical body, which I have found to be a very useful tool when it comes to relaxing anxiety. Not to mention, it is also very useful in just general stress relief and calming. But it is also very useful when it comes to relieving pain of the muscles or the bones. And I think that combination could really aid with a lot of this. I don't know about you, but I'm somebody that when I'm anxious I get really tense, and that can cause some pain, and having something to help sort of relieve that could be beneficial, I think. It is just getting prettier and prettier as we go on. Now time for the beautiful rose. Rose has quickly become one of my favorite herbs to work with as of late. It's a very nurturing herb, very beneficial when it comes to healing sadness and particularly grief. But it's also good with anxiety, and it is a similar gentle herb to lemon verbena. I kind of want to try those two in a tincture on their own one day soon as well. But one of my favorite words to describe rose that I've seen time and time again is balancing, and that is the major goal of this, is to bring balance. This one I went a little heavier on, as the petals are whole and not broken up like the others. Now finally for Tulsi, which is the only one I have powdered. Now yet another balancing herb is Tulsi. It's perhaps one of my most used herbs in my life as of late. It's a beautiful aid to stress and anxiety, and it just, that balancing aspect of it, it helps to calm the mind, bring balance to thoughts. It's great for focus and 100 other things. It is just a beautiful, beautiful herb, and so I am really excited about that one specifically. And again, I would be curious to work with rose and Tulsi together on their own and see how that may interact as well. This is kind of a Frankenstein of a tincture. This isn't typically how I would go about making a tincture. Right off the bat, usually I like to experiment with one herb at a time and slowly add new ones, but I want to do something that feels a little bit more exciting today. So adding all of these together was what felt right. So let's add the alcohol now. That looks absolutely perfect. Now make sure when you're covering it up to add a bit of parchment paper between the lid and the seal if you are going to be working with a mason jar or a metal lid like I am. Now to let this set for 6 weeks before putting it to the test. I'm gonna keep it in a dark place and make sure to give it a little shake every day to mix it up. Now, like I said before, this is an experiment. I feel good about it, but I don't know how it will go entirely. It is a Frankenstein. It might be too much, or maybe I will need to exchange the herbs or try something different. An ideal way to make a tincture, which is not the way that I've made this one, is to make a tincture of each individual herb and then mix those tinctures together, which I suppose is something I could do maybe, but I was feeling a little bit too eager and I just wanted to see how this would go. It just felt right to me. Now, as with all things herbal medicine, it is medicine and it's important to be aware of some things. There are some contraindications with these plants and it's important to keep that in mind. So for instance, with meadowsweet, you should use caution with ingesting it if you have a sensitivity to aspirin. And it can also impact coagulation for those who are taking blood thinners. Rose should be avoided in high doses during pregnancy, and Tulsi should also be avoided in pregnancy. It may also have impact on blood sugars for those of you that are diabetic. And of course, it is important to consult with your medical care team or professionals before taking anything new. So be careful, do some research, talk to the right people, and make sure you're going about it safely. This is also an experiment. This is not a full recipe that I am ready to share as a success, and I want to keep that in mind as well. It is just part of the process that I want to share with you. I'm really happy with how it's looking. It looks beautiful. We'll see how it turns out. I have never tried to make a tincture that's mixed like this, and I also definitely didn't work on it exactly right. But it is what I wanted to do today. It's what I needed to do today, and I am grateful to get to share it with you. So I'll check back in with you on this in 6 weeks. I might post more about it on my vlog channel, so that is linked down below if you're interested. But other than that, I'll check back in with you later. Thank you so much for watching. If you can and would like to, I'd really appreciate it if you checked out my Patreon. There I share art, herbal profiles, book recommendations, and monthly workshops. It's what keeps things running over here, so I am just very, very grateful for all of you that are over there. So with that, thank you again for watching. I hope you're having a lovely day, and I will see you again soon.